Doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Just tired, of course.
Why are you tired?
Busy week.
Busy? Yeah. All right. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. It's just, started a new job and too much happening.
How's the job?
It's all right. It's pretty good. Meeting cool people, especially.
Yeah, that's the most important part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. But, it's just draining me. We should get back on with it. Happy Halloween, everyone. And in celebration of that, today we'll be discussing 1978's John Carpenter film that's a slasher horror, Halloween. In celebration of Halloween. So
Very clever. Very clever.
very clever. It was his idea.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. What do you just do the description?
The synopsis?
Yeah, the synopsis.
Well, I got you on that one. So,
can't think of the word for it for the life of me.
that's all right. So, for Halloween, the story is about a mental patient, Michael Myers, who is put into a sanitarium for murdering his sister on Halloween night when he was 6 years old. 15 years later, he escapes the sanitarium and returns to his hometown where he is stalking a female babysitter and her friends while under pursuit by his psychiatrist.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty simple right there.
Wait, sanitarium. Like an insane asylum?
Yeah, but it's basically what it is, but it's more for like, I'm not 100% sure if this is a right description of what a sanitarium is, but it's like you go there to get medical help, I think.
Ah.
Like
Okay,
just,
so it pretty much is like an insane asylum?
yeah, pretty much.
I just never...
Just because like the scene whenever the psychiatrist pulls up to the sanitarium, it's just there's a bunch of like crazy people all around.
Gotcha.
So,
Just like...
yeah,
was that like they were like just like cows out in the feed pasture or something?
that's kind of what they were like, honestly. They were just kind of standing there, like,
Interesting. Like,
very interesting.
yeah, like a bunch of cows. Anywho, well, how about we start with, what did you think of this movie overall?
So I actually really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the whole idea of Halloween. I thought the concept was pretty cool, like a super duper strong guy is out killing all these teenagers. It's pretty spooky.
It is spooky.
I had seen the movie previously before rewatching it, but I had completely forgotten everything that happened in it, so I actually did jump quite a bit whenever I was watching it, which was kind of surprising since this is like a 1978 movie.
Yeah,
I was kind of surprised that I got jumped.
Yeah, like my dad was like a little kid when this came out.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, for me, like, okay, so first off, I actually enjoyed it. It was fun. We'll get into like exactly how I felt about it.
All right.
But no, I mean, I'm not one to sit here and be like, no, the effects were cheesy and outdated, so I didn't enjoy it. But no, I thought it was a great movie. I liked the concept. John Carpenter, of course, did a good execution with everything.
Yeah.
But it was good. There was like one more thing I was gonna like say, but overall it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. Unlike you, like you said, you had seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
This was actually my first time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but being a first time like viewer, it was like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah, I do.
I wasn't
agree with
as
that.
scared.
Nah, yeah.
There were some times where like I jumped, but I mean,
I think the reason is just for why this movie isn't scary today. It's just because movies have changed so much. Like, especially horror movies have changed a lot from when they first came out. Like, this is a really early horror movie. This kind of like, honestly, this is the one I consider to like launch the whole thing of like the horror genre and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, that's my opinion.
Right.
But it's so different because it doesn't have many jump scares. That's what a lot of horror movies nowadays have, is these long shots with a lot of jump scares and the music is intense, which this does do. And that's what jumped me was mostly the music. It wasn't necessarily a jump scare. It's just the music eventually at some point did like a
yeah, it was like,
and it just spooked
called
me.
like a crescendo or something like that.
I'm not a music man.
Not a music man. I just appreciate music.
Yeah.
And no, that was actually one of the first things I noticed. Like in the first like few minutes of the movie, it's just all of a sudden like it sounded like a violin, just like.
Yeah, no, it's because
ear raping
whenever
you.
one of the biggest moments that made me jump is whenever Michael Myers went back to his hometown and he was stalking the little kid. Kind of forgot what his character's name was, but the little kid, he was walking around at school, and one of the bully kids that was like bullying the main boy, like runs into Michael Myers.
Oh.
But it's like you don't see him. He just hits the guy, and then it's like, "Ding!" And it was just like,
Yeah.
God.
And then that was actually really well done. Like that kid, like that kid did a good job. Like with the look on his face, I was like, okay. The whole time when they're like bullying the kid, I forgot his name too, because he just, I don't know, it was like, I don't know, he was just a minor character. But yeah, no, whenever he like, they were bullying him, I was like, okay, these kids are obviously just little kid actors. They're not doing like the best, and I don't blame them. But whenever that kid like ran into Michael, and I was like, okay, I believe that kid's face.
No, yeah, for real.
Yeah.
It's like you could kind of like guess who that was, like when he runs into him. Like you don't really. It's kind of like you got an idea. It's like, oh, that's probably Michael Myers. But his face sold it. I was like, oh, that's like 100% Michael Myers because he looked terrified, which I thought was really impressive.
It's like he probably didn't know who he just ran into. He just saw like a creepy William Shatner mask.
Yeah, he doesn't know who that is.
Yeah, I mean they were talking about the boogeyman and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. But yeah, so let's talk about like the first like scene, like the setup. I did like want to say like the title sequence was really cool.
I liked it too. Yeah.
Yeah, like where like first it just starts off in like a jack-o'-lantern, and it took a while for me to realize like it was zooming in on it.
Yeah, no, it takes a minute for it to kind of move around and see what's going on, but I enjoyed that a lot because it was like playing its music, fantastic music by John Carpenter. I thought it was really good.
It was great that like the writer, director,
and the composer.
Yeah, the composer, like
composer.
He did like great job.
He did a lot of stuff in that movie.
Yeah, he does that for like The Thing too, which I also need to rewatch.
Oh, his name was Tommy, little boy. Tommy.
Little Tommy. I knew it was like something like Billy or Tommy.
Yeah.
They did kind of need to pick different names for this because they were a little too generic.
Generic names.
What should we call a little kid in a Western film? Oh, let's just call him Billy. Kind of like one of those.
Yeah.
But no, that title sequence was awesome. Like just the zoom in, and then like the score was like a lot more. Like the main theme of the song was a lot more like detailed than I like remembered. Like the little.
Yeah, you really only hear like the intro, the.
Yeah. But the whole little like. I was like, whoa, that like adds to it. It's like super cool.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of layers to that song.
It really is. I love trying to like figure out how to play it on the piano. It sounds really cool. You can make it sound cool.
There was actually a problem that I had with the music, though.
Really?
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
I will
now?
talk about it just because I want to.
Yeah.
So my biggest problem with the music in the movie is they only used the same song. Like it was just the theme, just over and over. So at first I liked it. I was like, I really like this music, and I still like it. I still think it's a great score. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a really good score.
Oh, it's iconic.
But yeah, it's iconic. But the thing is that it just got used so much that it started to feel overplayed for me.
Yeah, I do get that with a lot of movies.
Yeah, they just used different parts of the theme for like different moments in the song. I mean, in the movie, and eventually it just kind of like. It's like, dang, they really don't have any other music but the theme.
Can y'all pull out anything else, please?
It just got a little repetitive, and it was something that I kind of started to dislike about the song.
But other than that, it was still good.
It is still a good song, though.
But yeah, no, I agree 100%. Like, they could have at least added something else, just a little.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the song does fit like the whole vibe of the movie, so I can feel why I can see why they would use it a lot, because it does fit whenever it's used, but it just felt so used, like it's the only thing they used in the movie.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there, I was like, dang, they got nothing else.
It's just kind of weak. but yeah, like going back to, I guess we could just go through the movie as it goes. Um, I wanted to point out like with the title sequence, like it said introducing Jamie Lee Curtis. I didn't realize like this was her first like movie. Like this was her first, and honestly, like what a breakout role.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize, or I didn't notice that actually.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at where she is now. She's like Knives Out, Freaky Friday.
She's
like,
in all the other Halloween
she's in
movies.
every single she's in the new ones, dude. Like, that's just crazy. Like, she's stuck with. But also, like, doing the research on that. So, I mean, Psycho. That's like that's one that we need to watch.
That is one we need to do a review on that one.
Have you seen it?
No.
I have not.
But I really want to.
Yeah, me too. I mean, like, I love Alfred Hitchcock. Like,
yeah.
But for him to do probably like one of the first, major horror like slasher films, obviously this movie, from what I can tell, took a lot of like from like Psycho.
No, yeah, definitely. You could definitely see the resemblance from
like Norman Bates and stuff. Like so we're definitely gonna have to watch that
for sure.
But did you know? Well, you may have seen this if you're like researching it, but so Jamie Lee Curtis's mom is in Psycho. Shoot, what was I forget? I didn't even write her name down, but anyway, so Jamie Lee Curtis's mom was in Psycho. She's like I think the one in the shower.
Like, getting killed?
Yeah, the one that like dies.
Yeah,
I think,
wow.
But I could be mistaken. So John Carpenter apparently wanted to pay like an homage to Alfred Hitchcock by having like the Curtis, like Jamie Lee Curtis's mom he wanted to like have her daughter, and so he brought Jamie Lee Curtis on.
Is that who gets killed? Like
yeah,
the girl in the beginning.
The girl like in the no like Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie.
Oh, I didn't know he was in it.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, she's what's her name? Like Laurie.
Oh, never mind. My bad. Okay,
Yeah.
Never mind. I got you. I see what you're saying. My bad.
That's who Jamie Lee Curtis
I
is.
forgot she played the main character. Ooh.
Yeah, literally the main. It's all good.
Laurie Strode is her name.
Laurie Strode.
That's her character.
I knew her name was Laurie. I didn't know her last name was Strode. That's pretty cool. I like that. Okay, back like with
My bad.
them picking out bad names. That's a cool last
Brain
name.
fart on my part though. Totally forgot that she played the main character.
No, you're good. You're good. I got you.
Thank you.
But anyway, so and actually like another cool thing is that like they were like Universal was trying to make a Psycho 2. It was trying to get Jamie Lee Curtis to be in it.
Huh.
And so like at the same exact time they were like making this.
Wow.
And so she's like, nah, I'm doing this.
There she goes. Loyalty.
Yeah.
And she's still with it.
She's still with it. And then
1978 to 2021.
I mean, and speaking of like how successful this movie is, did you see the budget it was made on?
I did, but I didn't write it down. Kind of forgot.
That's cool because I did. 350,000. Yeah, it was like 350,000. And guess what it grossed at the box office?
50 million.
Just shy of 50 million.
Was it 47 million?
Yeah, 47 million.
Okay.
47 million, 160,000.
There you go.
So, dude,
because you can tell it's not a very high budget movie.
It's not, but like it still felt like wow, they did a good job.
They did do a good job because
Like,
I think they just pulled their resources and knew what they were doing. Like they don't have a ton of money into going into the movie, but they know exactly what they need,
exactly.
and like to make it realistic and grounded. They didn't need all the extra money.
Yeah, and like they just did what they could. I mean, like that's probably like why John Carpenter composed the music himself is because he wouldn't have to pay for a composer, so he did it himself. I mean, like talk about successful.
Seriously, really.
We should. It shows that like you don't have to make like super iconic, famous movies like this with like $1 million plus budget.
Yeah.
I mean, that's super impressive. Like not even
gives hope to the young filmmakers like ourselves.
It does.
And we don't need $1 million and Universal backing us up to make a really good movie.
Yeah, exactly.
The story and the acting.
It is the acting, and then just the editing. There is one problem with this, which I guess I can get into now, is the sound. Like editing of this, there was too much dubbing that was just like
Was there?
There was a little too much. There was way too much poorly done dubbing, and like that's.
I don't think I
Probably should
really.
have saved this for like the personal cons section of this.
Well, this is a personal. Just say it anyway.
Yeah, but I now that we're here, unless you think I should save it for that time.
Well, we're here now. Just say it.
We're here now. Okay.
We're here now.
So yeah, I mean like, and nothing against like the editors and stuff, of course, but this is just my personal thing where, like when, I just said her like Laurie is like running through the house and she just.
Oh yeah.
It's just like poorly done.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
And she's like her facial expressions are, they're pretty good. Her crying's good. Some of her facial expressions like, just all right, okay. you're a young actress. It's okay.
Yeah, breakout movie.
But then like the dummy's like, okay, y'all couldn't have used like what y'all had like on the set. I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on. I should have looked more into that. I was planning to do that this morning. I just never was able to.
Yeah.
I
do know what you're talking about.
That was my main problem with like the movie, was just the sound.
Yeah, because I do remember that sticking out to me. I do remember that because she was running around in the house, and it was just kind of like, it didn't fit. It sounded too crisp.
It too crisp.
Like it sounded too loud compared to like where she was in the house or moving around, and she just sounded too. It was just like right there. It's like right in your face.
And then if you're gonna do that, don't show the faces as much as they did, because you could tell it like wasn't matching. It was just it was very, very off. It was that was just pretty much the only thing. And then like another thing with the sound, like you could hear like the switching, like it kind of sounds like the little movie that I made. Like if you're
like
really
the
listening to
white noise in the background.
Pretty much like the white noise, and then it's like it switches like
and then
frame.
Like,
it's like
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So there was a lot of that, particularly in the scene where like she was running through the house and stuff. But I mean, we gotta give them credit. It's a low budget movie.
It is.
I
still think it turned out well.
It did turn out well. So I mean, like I said, it's the only thing that bothered me. I'm not gonna let it like make it a bad movie for me, because it's still a pretty good movie.
Because that don't happen very often.
Mm-hmm.
Like where the audio was just a little whack. Because the rest of it I thought was pretty good.
Right. One thing I do like about the audio and like the world of it was like the breathing in the mask.
I did like that.
Like that's just
when they were doing like the POV, or not a POV, but just like over the shoulder of Michael Myers, you can just hear him breathing.
Yeah, well, like just kind of like and he's like there. It's like, and it was just like that. And it doesn't. I was hoping it would sound like that with like this mask, but it kind of doesn't. Not really. At least for me.
That was probably added in later, just like as another overdub.
It was just and it actually sounded really good.
It did sound really good. It was kind of like, it reminded me a lot of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Like whenever you can hear the breathing and the air being put into the oxygen mask or their space helmets.
His space helmet, yeah, it's a good. I don't know what you would call that exactly. But yeah, and then speaking of your POV shot, like that was like cool, like that first scene.
With as your Michael Myers as a kid.
As like a little 6-year-old or whatever, little 6-year-old Mikey.
Yeah, little Mikey.
And then like his sister is about to do it with the dude. Who...
It actually kind of threw me off though, because the whole time I didn't know it was a POV. Like I kind of forgotten it was a POV because it looked just like a normal. You're just moving through a house, and then you just see like a little hand reach out and grab a mask and put it on. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that hand kind of looked like. I was like, what in the world?
It was just really tiny. I was like, what in the world?
It was tiny. It looked like a little like doll hand.
It did.
I don't know.
I thought it was a pretty cool shot though.
I mean, those cameras are pretty big. So
yeah.
They were doing what they could. And of course, just whenever he picked up the clown mask and like put it on, I was like, oh. It looked kind of funny, and then like you hear the breathing in that too, right?
Yeah,
if I remember correctly. Yeah,
like they did change actually the pitch of the breathing, which I thought was kind of fun.
It wasn't like 6 plus 15 like 21-year-old.
Yeah, it wasn't like a 21-year-old breathing noise. It was like
it was a little 6-year-old like.
And I was like, that's pretty neat.
Yeah,
clever detail right there.
And then he walked in on his sister changing, brushing her hair while titties out.
Topless.
Yeah, topless is the proper word. It was just like, okay, dude. I know you're about to like kill her. don't do it like that.
It's a very
Have some decency, man.
It was a very I think like late 70s, early 80s, and kind of 80s movie thing to do. They always have those topless scenes.
Yeah, always. And then I'll discuss my take on that later. You know, but it was just like, come on, little Mikey. Like, can't you wait till she puts a shirt on at least?
They needed the effects.
They needed like the thing for the dudes. But yeah, so that was a cool scene, and of course, like, it's kind of like eerie. Whenever he like walks out, and it's like, Michael.
Oh yeah,
Michael?
I thought that was pretty funny. Was it Michael?
He like just takes a knife from him. He's like, "What are you doing with this?" And they're just like staring at him, and then he's just like gazing. I was like, the kid did a good job just standing there, and like, it was actually kind of creepy.
I really did like that opening sequence because I think it set the mood for like the whole movie.
It did. It really did.
It was just Halloween night, and this little kid kills his sister, showing like Michael Myers' kind of craziness, his insanity.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the opening scene.
Yeah. And then,
just because you got the music playing with the jack-o'-lantern, then it cuts to the whole POV thing, which I thought was really cool. I really enjoyed that. Yes. And then the murder of his sister, and then his craziness. He's a crazy kid.
Yeah, a very crazy kid. I'm glad none of my brothers are like that. Yeah. And then like that next scene, the car scene, like the dialogue, like kind of explaining, like how bad he really is.
Oh, with the pharmacist?
Yeah. With the nurse and like the psychiatrist.
Pharmacist. Yeah. I don't know what.
No, you're good. You're good.
Psychiatrist.
Yeah, he just goes and he delivers Michael his medicines.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, here you go, bud.
But yeah, no, he does a good job of kind of describing why it's bad if Michael Myers were to get out.
Yeah.
And that he's been trying to keep him in for so long.
Yeah, he's really setting up like how bad of a guy we have.
Yeah.
Like on our hands.
Because I mean, you only see him as a kid doing his deeds.
Yeah.
But then you don't know what he's like as an adult.
Yeah, it's like, no, he got worse.
And yeah, he's worse.
Yeah, it's like, I'm trying to remember exactly like what was said during that time of like the movie, but just, and also that actor, I like didn't put his name down, something Plemons, I think. I told my dad that we were reviewing this morning. He was like, that actor really carried the movie. I was like, that is.
He does do a really good job.
Exactly what I was thinking. And that goes back to like the success of the movie was because they had him in it and he was more known. It's like, look, this actor's in it. And so I was like, because if you have like a big actor like that,
Donald Pleasance,
and it was like something.
Pleasance. Donald Pleasance played Dr. Samuel Loomis.
Dr. Samuel Loomis?
Loomis.
Yeah, I thought you said lemons for a second.
Sorry.
Lemons. No, that wasn't you. That was me.
Who's Lemons?
Mr. Lemons. But no, he did a great job.
He did indeed.
Like, just delivering, like, is that a real British accent? Is he actually British?
I have no idea. Maybe.
Or was he even British, or was he just trying to do a sophisticated...
Yeah, I don't remember him being British. I think he's just smart.
He was just sophisticated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well. But no, he did a great job. He, like I was saying, he helped with the success of the movie, I think. They probably spent a lot of money on him.
Maybe so.
And they're like, yeah, just whatever we get, you get too.
Go forth.
But he did a really good job setting up, like, the character of Michael Myers now compared to a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then that scene where he gets out. So that scene where he gets out to open the gate, and he's like, what's going on? And, like, he gets out, and the lady's, like, in there, and all of a sudden it's like the, Reed! And then he's just,
yeah.
You see a dude look like a monkey/werewolf jump across
Michael
the car.
Myers.
I was like,
hijacking the car.
I was like, what in the world?
I know, it was very split. They don't really show his face all that much, which I enjoyed,
that was
keeping
cool.
the mystery.
That was cool.
I enjoy that. And so it was like a split second of his face at the beginning and then like a split second of it at the end. But in the part, like for the beginning, I liked it just because there was like a split second. You see Michael Myers is like without the mask, without all of his killer get up.
Yeah.
Without his mask. And then he just jumps on a car and breaks the window with his hand, showing his strength. He's just like, and then like grabs the girl.
Yeah, he like grabs her by the hair.
And attempts to like pull her out. I'm not sure. Probably trying to kill her, honestly.
Yeah, probably trying to strangle her.
That too. He does do a lot of that.
Yeah, he does a a lot of that.
Because he's a strong man.
Yeah, he's got those big hands and
He's
stuff.
a big dude. Big
gorilla,
scary man.
Big gorilla hands. Not exactly like hairy, but big,
He's just a big dude.
Hands. But yeah, that was kind of funny. I kind of laughed at that scene.
Yeah, it's a little funny.
Okay, that was a little outdated, but I'm just gonna go along with it. Oh well, it's
a 78 movie.
Yeah, it's not even the 80s. You know?
Not even the 80s yet.
Because that's where a lot of that is. It's just like, okay, that was too outdated, and then it still was like,
but it worked.
It worked. It worked.
Just because the whole movie.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know.
But yeah, then what scene is after that? It's like Laurie.
Then he gets the car and then he goes to start like stalking his peoples.
Yeah, he just goes back to that house and then it introduces Laurie and then Tommy was his name.
Tommy,
the little boy, yeah. And then all of her friends, her friend that says like totally. Doesn't she like say totally? I know I wrote it down because I was like, as I was watching, I was like going to like the notes. I was like, okay, this girl's kind of aggravating me. But she like says totally or actually a little too much.
For sure.
So yeah, totally. So yeah, you get to it introduces and you get to meet them.
But then it also has a part that I start to dislike.
Really?
I will also get into this one too. So whenever you are introduced to the characters, you also are introduced to Michael in his get up. He's got his mask, he's got his jumpsuit, he's got all that. But Michael, something that I just thought was a bit bizarre to me is that Michael Myers was so open about his stalking that it's like he would get, like he's in the car and just drives and like stares at them, and then he's been following Laurie around like all day.
And she notices.
She notices it, and I was
the
like,
same car.
And
it's like labeled too.
And it's labeled with the sanitarium's label on it, or emblem or whatever it is. And I was just like, really? Nobody like thought to report that? And then he just gets in front of them at one point behind a bush. He like stands right there and looks at her. She's like, "Hey, who is that?" And then he leaves. But like, it was just, I thought it was a little unrealistic about how open he was about stalking. Now I could probably see it does help them, I think, create a scare factor with it about how he is super confident about how, like, because that's how open he is about stalking, is he knows he's gonna get them,
right?
And he wants them to know it, like kind of toying with them.
Yeah, which adds to it.
Which does add to it, but it was just like, I felt like somebody would have said something.
Like realistically,
somebody would have said something.
Someone would have been like, "Hey, there's this guy.
A masked man has been following us around all day, and is in this car that has a sanitarium sign on it, and he's acting crazy. He might need to be in there." And it's just like nobody cared to notice.
Right. I don't know. But then again, like,
it does add to his confidence, though.
What was it like in 1978?
Yeah, I got no idea.
Did people really care? I know, like, some people left their doors unlocked.
Yeah.
That was probably even before. I think the 70s is when it really started to, like, crime. America was a little different, crime was kind of rising, and then stuff like that, especially after, like, the Zodiac killer and stuff like that.
Right.
So, I don't know, some of it was like, it's like, yeah, I could see that. I was thinking the same thing, but then again, like we mentioned, I liked whenever he was out, and he was, like,
you did like
letting himself be known. I was like, that adds to the creepiness of him.
I guess so.
I
just didn't like it all that much, just for its realism.
Yeah, if you're taken out of it, you're taken out of it. But I get it, but then I respect it. But yeah, no, I just thought it was a little cool. What else? You get to meet the characters, and then one thing I thought was funny was whenever, like, they pull up and, like a friend, I forget, like, I know there were like Annie and there was another one, like Jennifer or something like that. I don't know. They were like driving, like, to school or something, and they stopped by, and, like, the girl's dad was, like, the cop
with the psychiatrist.
Yeah, they were out there looking at, like, the robbed toy store. No, it wasn't.
It was like a Halloween store with the mask and knives.
Yeah, and it's like, how'd they know exactly what he took?
I mean, they probably have a stock.
They probably do.
Like, that made sense, because the store would have a stock, and, like, they know how much of what they have, like, I guess how many masks they have or how many knives they have. And then if some go missing, you take a count, and you're like, oh, we're missing a couple of them.
That was a pretty quick count if they did that, like an inventory check.
Yeah, I guess so.
My thing was, like, if they knew exactly how much, did someone, like, see someone walking away with all that?
It was, like, broad daylight.
Yeah, it was.
With
may have happened in
a
the
busy
morning.
street.
May have happened, like, in the middle of the night.
I get, yeah,
Early in the morning.
Oh, yeah, you know what? He has his mask and stuff on while he's still in the car, so that probably happened while he was traveling and stuff.
That's true. Like, before all the events take place.
Yeah.
So he must have done that really early. But yeah, no. And then, of course, whenever he keeps stalking, it's like, okay, when is he going to actually strike?
Yeah.
Like, the suspense of that.
He does, actually. I thought it was a bit silly that he was in a car with his mask on and all the stuff in the sanitarium car, and he drives right behind the psychiatrist, and the dude didn't look, and I was like, really?
Yeah, it's like, it was like one of those moments of a movie.
It was like they just miss each other, and you're just like,
oh, no.
It's like, he was right there.
You're like, dude, turn around.
Yeah, that was one of those moments, which I do kind of enjoy those moments, but I get so aggravated with them at the same time.
Yeah.
But not in like a bad way. It's kind of just like dude, he was right there.
Yeah, this could have been a movie where it was, oh no, this was kind of.
But whenever they do that, it's definitely intentional. They're just trying to get like the reaction out of the audience, like, oh, yeah, the whole thing could have been prevented.
Trying to really like piss you off, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on now. But no, it worked, obviously.
I think it does.
What they were trying to do was like, come on, dude, you could have looked around. But then, like you said, like, okay, Michael, why would you drive right past a store you just robbed?
I know. And then with like everybody who could recognize you is right there. It's like, you were not thinking about that one.
Yeah, it's like, we know you were in a psych ward. We know you're a little off. But why would you do that?
It was just a bit risky. Just like an unnecessary risk. And I was like, man.
Wearing the mask that he stole from the store, too.
Okay. And in the car.
He definitely needs to go back to that psych ward on top of like all the killings.
He needs to start thinking his strategic moves through.
I thought I was bad with thinking and planning stuff like that.
Thinking in advance.
Michael, you taught me, buddy. Yeah, let's see. Turned off.
So what was next in that? So he does that.
And then
and then he goes to find the little boy, Tommy.
Yeah,
at the school.
Why exactly is he stalking him? I thought like since Laurie was the one that like went up.
Maybe I think it's because she's gonna be babysitting him. That's why he was following her, because he does hear. I think he does overhear the conversation because he is around.
That makes sense.
She's like, "I'm going to babysit Tommy Doyle."
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. And you're trying to figure out where he lives and stuff.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, that actually like makes it a lot
because
cooler.
He starts following him.
Because they obviously live like away from each other. Because you see where like they meet and they came from different directions. Okay, that actually makes like a lot more sense to me. Because that was something I was wondering is like why is he
like how did he choose this kid?
It's not the kid that walked up and like put the key under the thing and approached the house and like did the whole.
Because that was Laurie.
Pretty interesting. There was a scene like in a schoolhouse where like it was like fate. So they were saying fate over and over. Can't entirely remember. And then like it's where
like when he gets bullied.
No. Like when Laurie is just kind of daydreaming right there, and then she looks out the window and he's just
and he's
standing
right there.
And she like looks away and she looks back. It's like he in the car is gone.
Well, it's because she was talking. Like she answers a teacher's question.
Yeah, that's right.
And then she's like sitting there reading like a little paragraph, and then she looks and he's gone.
Right, and that's where they're trying to do. It seemed like a little bit of like fake foreshadowing, kind of. If like that makes any sense, or if that's even a thing where the teacher saying. I just noticed fate was said over and over. She's like, fate is the word of the day. Fate is something you gotta worry about. Fate, and it was just kind of like, lady, okay.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I know. I definitely like went back to my notes and I was like, okay, why is she saying fate over and over? Yeah. It's kind of getting annoying, kind of like the totally thing. And so I felt like that was something to make you think, like to realize, and like, okay, something tells me like this girl is definitely gonna be dying at the end of this movie. And then of course, spoiler alert, she doesn't die.
She's in the next 120 versions of this movie.
Yes, she's in Halloween H2O.
I've never seen that. Probably never gonna see it.
Yeah, may have to check it out just to make fun of it.
I don't
Sounds
know.
like
Maybe.
We'll have to see. 20 years later. But yeah, so I think that was like one of the things like where you're it's trying to say like she's gonna die, and then she doesn't. So that was cool. That was one thing I was like, okay, why is this teacher saying this? Yeah.
And then I think next up from that part is whenever her friends start saying all what they're going to be doing that Halloween.
Yeah, that too.
About how they're hanging out with their boyfriends, going to get frisky.
Yeah, get frisky and trying to convince her to do stuff.
Yeah, and they're trying to convince her to go with them, but she's got to babysit.
Yeah. Yeah, good Lori. Good Lori.
Yeah. She's
sticking to your plans.
Exactly.
Just
a loyal babysitter right there.
But then again, not really. She was like, the houses they were like in were not hers, and they were like up in these random beds, doing it right.
What you mean?
Am I wrong? Like so, like the two girls. There was like there was Lori, and there was like the brunette friend.
Yeah.
Is her name like Annie or something? I know one of them's Annie.
Annie.
Yeah, it's
one
Annie.
of them's Annie. Or is it Lindsay?
Oh, that's right, Lindsay.
Is Lindsay the other girl?
No. Lindsay is actually like the little girl.
Little girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
When they say that, like no. What's the blonde girl's name? It's like the blonde friend. And then she's like
The other one who gets killed?
Yeah, she's doing it with Bob.
Is it Linda?
Linda.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's Linda. So I should definitely like get the characters' names all down and stuff. And their actors.
I should too as well.
Yeah. Anyway, been a long week.
Oh yeah, so Annie is the other babysitting friend.
Yeah,
who's
she's
across the
babysitting.
street.
She's gonna give her kid over
to
She's
Lori.
watching. Yeah, because she's watching Lindsay, and she's gonna like call her boyfriend or whatever.
She's going to pick up her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And
so they can do it in this house that's not hers.
Exactly.
That's kind of gross.
Yep.
Yeah. If I like have kids, and me and my wife, like me and Nalea are like gonna go have a date, and then I find out that like
They did it in your bed.
they did it in like one of our beds, I'm gonna like
Be a little
I'm
upset.
gonna become
It's not a good babysitter.
I'm gonna become Michael Myers. I'm like, you kids.
But so one
Probably
thing I
not
do like
that
actually.
exactly.
Well, actually, before we get into all the murdering, because that's where we're about to head, I
Yeah.
need to use the loot. So
we're gonna take a
quick little break, and we'll be right back.
Hey there, thank you so much for tuning in.
We really appreciate you taking the time to come and listen to our podcast.
We try to release an episode nearly every week, but we'd really love to stay engaged and to hear from you.
You can get in touch with us at mailbag@bowtiemovielounge.com, and we'll do our best to get back with you.
So please let us know what you think about the movies we reviewed or ones you want to hear us do, along with any agreements or disagreements you may have with us.
And without further ado, let's get back into the podcast.
So please, sit back and relax. You're at the Bowtie Movie Lounge. Alright everybody, welcome back. Thank you for waiting for us. We replenished our tea, regained our thoughts, and we're back to discuss John Carpenter's 1978, what's it, 73, horror slasher film, Halloween. So we're going to get back into the ending, the killings, and discuss a few categories.
Alrighty. Let's get right into those killings.
Alright, yeah.
Alright. So,
I'm going to be watching you.
first off, what we got is we have character known as Annie. She's our first to go. She is babysitting Lindsay and is trying to meet up with her boyfriend. So she sends Lindsay over to Lori and Tommy's house. And she never makes it to her boyfriend.
Her boyfriend never makes it to her.
She was going to pick him up.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she was going to go pick him up.
So she never makes it to him.
Yeah, and they were going to go back to the house, and they were going to
Do their stuff.
They were going to shag
Shag.
at someone else's house, which, like I mentioned earlier, like, why would you do that in someone else's house? It's, like,
Who knows?
gross.
Weird.
Yeah, weirdo. kids in the 70s, man. It's our parents, dude.
But
Not as old. Not as old. I mean, my dad was born in 71. He wasn't old enough. He was probably the same age. He was probably the same age as Michael. Yeah, he was like the same age as Michael in the first. He was like 6 or 7.
there you go.
Yeah.
So, first off, what I'm going to mention about this, kind of about the way I guess Michael goes about killing his victims, is I actually really like it. That sounds weird, but what I mean by it is Michael kind of toys with his victims. So he's around the house, and Annie just keeps hearing noises, doesn't really know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's because Michael's out there just messing around with stuff, just to kind of freak her out, which I kind of do like. It's kind of like he's toying with them.
Yeah.
Which shows his brutality.
Yeah, and like his actual mental craziness,
Mm-hmm.
and like actually feel like a real serial killer.
I agree.
Not that I know exactly what a real serial. I just know that they toy with people. But yeah, no, like I like that too. I like that aspect.
It just
of,
added to his character
Yeah, it
of
really
like
did.
he's crazy. He's a killer. He messes with his prey before he moves in, sort of like an animal would.
Yeah, exactly, and just kind of confuses them. And every now and then, like if I'm not mistaken, you hear the breathing, and you're like, okay, I know he's around. I know I mentioned it earlier, like I just love that effect of like him breathing and stuff.
It just adds to like suspense. Like he's there. He's gonna get him, but then he
Exactly.
doesn't. And then you're like, what? It kind of, at the same time, it also messes with the audience.
Yeah, it really does. But yeah, yeah, I love that part of it. It messes with the audience, just like you said. And you know, it breaks your suspense.
It does. It gets you like it's about to happen. No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
So
and
like,
then bam, it happens.
and then it happens, and
so
you're
it's like exactly. Like
like,
that's
what the
what I
heck?
love about it.
It was kind of like it plays with the audience, and it like makes you expect it's about to happen, and then not happen.
Exactly.
And I love that. Love that effect it has. Like it was just good writing, good editing,
Yeah,
good directing.
It was very well.
I
very
just
well
really like
planned.
the way they execute that thing.
Yeah, and then of course, you know, there's the next. So there's the first killing. He like strangles her, then he stabs her.
Yeah, I like how they show his strength whenever he kills Annie, because he's sitting in the back of a car and just like one-handed just strangles her.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there with one hand holding this teenage girl down.
Yeah, he like
he's
pops
just, like-
up from the back.
Yeah, he's just like whoop, and then boop. And I love how they emphasize the strength of Michael Myers, because he just one hands everything,
Yeah,
and he's
he
just like a
does.
super powerful, strong character that can just hold anybody down.
Just the whole time in like the psych ward, he had the little grips. It was just like working out. It's like
He was doing some hand workouts.
Yeah, some major hand workouts.
I love that little extra tidbit that they added just to add to his character. Is just like, let's make him super strong. He's just just one hand is just taking this girl out, and then he slits her throat.
Exactly. Are you on mute?
No.
Oh, cool. Just checking. Yeah, no, I did like that part, and of course he stabs her, and that's where it was. At least for me, that part was like, she could still be alive. And
I think he like slit her jugular or something like
Did he?
that. He kind of like cuts to her side of her neck.
yeah, he does that, and then like later on when you see her like her corpse, she's like bleeding right here in the
Oh,
gut.
she is.
So, I don't know.
Oh, maybe I just missed something there.
Yeah, because I feel like the whole time I'm like what, what's when the world's happening, what's gonna happen next, and like it was kind of hard for me to absorb like what was happening then. All I just remember is him strangling her and then like slashing her.
And
I wasn't
then the
really
music
thinking
does
too
the
hard,
like sing,
yeah,
like does a thing whenever he moves in with the stab.
yeah. And then the next girl he kills, Linda,
Is Linda and
Bob.
is it Bob?
Yeah, I don't know why I remember
Linda
that. It's
and Bob.
it's like I don't know.
So Linda and Bob end up at the same house that Annie just died at, because they were going to meet up with Annie at her house and meet her boyfriend, and they were all going to hang out together.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so they go and don't see Annie anywhere, expecting her to be with Lori or off doing something else. So they call Lori from the house Annie died at, and they call her and say, "Where's Annie?" And she's like, "She went off to get her boyfriend." And then because they have a conversation, Annie and Lori have a conversation before her unfortunate passing, and So that no one really thinks anything is up, that she's just out going to get her boyfriend. So Linda and Bob start, doing their shenanigans. And Michael Myers strikes again.
It comes in. Yeah, let's see. He first kills Bob.
Mm-hmm. Which, I love Bob's death.
Yeah. Bob actually did a good job. Like, cheers to Bob.
Because one thing that they use to emphasize Michael Myers' strength is he can also lift up a dude.
He literally picks up Bob.
Because
Bob's like...
Yeah, he can't do anything, which I like, because you might think, since he's killing one-handed killing this teenage girl, she'd be lighter, probably easier to overtake. But then he does it to a boy, and boys are usually heavier, a little bit stronger, and he can't do anything. He just boop.
He does it to a boy that looks like our friend Parker.
He does. Never thought of that.
Sorry, Parker, you're dying soon. Yeah, and then I thought a creepy part was when he kills Linda. Like, he's there. She thinks it's Bob. Guy that played Linda.
Oh, and had the thing on.
Yeah,
him.
he just had it on, and he had Bob's glasses on.
Yeah, on top of like the ghost sheet, or
yeah, it was
trying to be like a ghost.
It was just kind of like, and she's like, Bob, stop it. And then like he just kind of like, she's like, you're being mean or whatever, and then she like turns around and he just kind of struts up,
and then strangles her with the cords of the phone.
Yeah,
because she goes to call Lori.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to hang out with Lori,
and then gets killed. And then Lori's like, why did you guys call me? And she's like getting strangled on the phone.
Yeah,
I was like, Lori.
No, she thinks she'll like.
Yeah, she thinks, because she's like getting strangled. She's like, and I was like, that's not a strangle noise, bro.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's not. But that was like kind of funny, like kind of added to it.
It was kind of funny.
It was kind of weird. It was like mixed feelings about it. It's like, all right.
It was a little unrealistic, but kind of funny at the same time.
It was funny, and then at the same time, it was like terrifying, like,
because
like,
you're getting a phone call from someone getting strangled.
Yeah.
I feel like that would freak me out. And then you don't even know they're getting strangled.
It's just like the noises of them like doing it. It was just, I don't know. It was like so many emotions in that thing. I don't know. That was crazy. But yeah, so we already have 3 people down. I think that's it. Besides that one dude that he killed at like near the phone booth. Like whenever the doctor went.
Oh yeah,
like,
that was the mechanic.
You've got a man coming.
It was the mechanic. That's where he gets the coveralls from.
Yeah, that's right. I was like, it was a costume change. I don't know, like.
It's because the dude had no clothes on.
Yeah,
or they showed him without a shirt on. At least they didn't go any further. It was just kind of like the top of his chest, but he had no clothes on.
Yeah, and those overalls. Because it was the work suit.
Yeah, that's where he gets it from.
Okay.
It's from that guy. That's why they showed that. Is like, where did he even get this costume change?
Yeah, because I didn't even think about it. I was like, why is the dude... So I didn't even think about his work suit. I was just kind of like, okay, that's what he uses. It looks pretty cool. I like his work suit, actually. Yeah, and then I was a little confused. Like, why is it showing like the dude with... I guess he's wearing an undershirt.
Yeah, it was just there to show where Michael got his coveralls and stuff like that. That was why that was in there.
Thank you for pointing that out, because I didn't really realize that.
The dude was a mechanic.
He was a mechanic. So then next it's when they realize Michael's coming across the street.
No, because Lori first goes over to investigate what was going on.
Oh, that's right.
Because she's like, y'all stay here, talking to Lindsay and Tommy, and then she goes over to the house to see like what is going on, because Annie hasn't called back, and then she got the weird call from Linda.
That's right. And then she finds Annie on the bed with his sister's tombstone.
I thought it was mother's.
Really? I thought it was.
It was his sister. It was his sister's.
Yeah, because they went. And we forgot to mention.
They went to the graveyard.
They went to the graveyard, and he was like, "This is number 18, like 16, 17, 18." I could have had the numbers wrong, but it was something like that. And then they didn't see the sister's tomb, which
just heard Stonehead. What is it called?
Yeah, it was a tombstone.
Tombstone.
Stone, I guess.
I think it's tombstone.
Headstone, something like that.
Yeah, he took it and then he puts it above Annie's body.
Yeah, which I didn't really get. It was kind of like, it's not your sister.
It's probably just to freak him out.
I don't know, probably so.
Probably just like a freaky factor. I didn't really make any sense of it either.
Yeah, he was in a special place, you know. Yeah. he's
I do
a
like the
special guy.
introduction though of all the dead bodies. As you see
Yeah.
Annie, and then she starts freaking out, goes over, and then you see Linda's body, and then she runs into like the closet, and Bob's body falls from the.
That was the scariest part for me.
It's like a.
I actually like.
Jesus.
Out loud, I was like, "Oh my god! Oh crap!" But like, that was actually the scariest part for me.
Because then the music picks up.
Yeah,
and then,
well, it
like,
just came out of nowhere, and the way his body swung out at her, and it swung out at me. Because like, I was watching, I was like leaning in, and like all of a sudden I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, you're on the edge of your seat, and a body comes flying at
Yeah.
you. You're like,
Because I think I was also like, the way Linda did, like she making like a goofy face. Like
she
her
was, because
body,
she got like strangled. She's like,
yeah, like her eyes were like crossed and like tongue hanging out, kind of like it was almost cartoonish with the way her corpse was. And then like all of a sudden Bob swings out, and that was the scariest part for me, honestly. So yeah, so that
And
and then he comes out after her.
no, yeah. So his introduction into going out after Laurie is one of my favorite things in this whole movie. Is because she sits down, she's like crying, she goes and sits down, and then there's the dark doorway right behind her, and you just see the pale white mask just come out of the shadows, and then he slices at her and hits her arm,
Yeah.
and that's when she gasses it out of the house.
Why did I forget like all the like?
Freaking love that scene.
Yeah,
It's so good.
That scene was like really.
I was like,
well
that
done.
is so creepy and so perfect.
Because like I felt so like cool like whenever I was like, oh, I could see him.
Yeah, no, 'cause he just, like-
I bet if like I was watching it with someone, like I would be the first person to see it. But it did such a good job of like, no, like there he is. But
He's
then at the
coming
same time making you feel like that. And then like he just comes out, gets her arm,
And
she's
then
like
she
running.
starts stumbling around the house trying to get out.
Yeah, and then like somehow falls down the stairs, and actually breaks something. Remember like
She hurts her leg.
yeah, the way she got away from him really was by going over those like stair rails, and she like falls down like 2 stories of stairs pretty much, and like breaks her leg, and then is like stumbling out the house, and of course he's doing his iconic just walking.
Yeah, he just
That was, like-
casually, calmly, he's just walking.
Yeah,
Which I think is the whole reason why she even got away. Because if he was like pursuing her when she
Mhm.
was walking down the stairs and limping around the house trying to find the exit, he would have gotten her so easy.
he really would have. He probably could have like the way we see the rest of the movie play out. He could have just jumped down the stairs and just like done like a barrel roll and just like tackled her.
Just Bruce Lee
like
on her.
like a cheetah. I don't know. But yeah, so then of course she goes to the house where the kids are at. I guess.
I mean, I think I would as well, just because that's like your safe place. Because she does go first. She goes to the neighbors next door and like banging on the door trying to get help,
yeah,
and
she
they
does.
ignore her.
Yeah, they ignore her for some reason.
It's like if a girl was calling out saying she needs help. It's like, why would you shut them out? I thought that was a little weird.
They probably were going to get a gun or something for like the bad guy.
They just like turn off the lights and roll up.
Oh yeah, they do turn off.
They
the
like
lights.
ignore her,
Yeah, and then
and she's like,
and she-
that'd be my reaction too. I'd be like, what in the world, guys? I'm about to die. Help me.
Yeah, I probably would jump through the window. I don't know. And then she goes across the street to the kid's house. She calls Tommy down.
Because she locked herself out.
Yeah, that was actually pretty suspenseful.
It was because
She's
you
like-
just see him
she's,
walking,
like,
and she's like,
banging.
"Get the door!" And he's like right there.
That kid did get down those stairs pretty fast.
He did.
And then of course he's like, "What's going on?" And he's just
She's
like,
"Get to the room."
it's like, dude, just unlock the door. And of course she's like, Tommy, hurry up. He's like, it's so late. And he like opens the door. And then he's like, the boogeyman. She's like, I know. Get away.
Yeah. And she tells him to go in the room. They have their whole little brawl though, like right in that doorway, or in that living room right there.
Yeah.
Because
that
like
was-
Michael Myers gets in.
how, like he gets in through like that window, and then he like does he stab her again? Like kind of like
He misses. He misses.
yeah,
He
he
hits the
misses.
couch because she like rolls or something like that. He hits the couch, and she takes the knife
and she gets him in like in
and
the
stabs him like in the stomach.
or something. And he just like he like falls over and lays down, and then she does what I never would have done is she throws the knife.
Yeah, she gets rid of it thinking he's dead.
Yeah, which you
It
know
was a bit stupid.
It
That was a bit silly on
I
her
get it.
part.
She
but
always
she's
does
probably in like shock.
She always does it as if like, ooh, a gun. She does like, ooh, a knife. You know, like, girl, you.
Because she's probably like, I just killed a guy. Or she thinks she killed a guy.
Yeah.
And so she's like, get away from me.
Yeah, I don't know. It was still pretty well executed though. And of course, every time he sits up, it's just like.
Yeah. Who then? Oh, she tells the kids to leave after that whole fight and get help. And then the psychiatrist is walking down the street and he sees the kids running out and he goes in.
Yeah. And that's where he's like, oh. And so that's where he like.
Oh wait, no. Wait, what happened? Okay, so after he dies, she goes up to the kids, and Michael Myers comes back. He walks up the stairs, and she's like, and then she tells the kids to run into the room, and she goes in the closet.
Yeah, that's when she goes in the closet. Like she tells the kids to lock themselves in the room. I was surprised, like he didn't go. I mean, I guess
I don't think that was really his target though. It was mostly these older girls, not the kids.
Yeah,
like teenagers, kind of like his sister.
Yeah, that's true. And so, so yeah, that makes more sense because I was like, those kids would have been easier targets if he's like trying to just kill.
But he's not really. That's not like his target.
Right. And so I guess it's not like he has a target. He's not just kind of like. Let me.
He sticks with it.
Yeah, that makes sense now. But
so then they have their closet attack, and he almost gets in. Then she takes a hanger.
Yeah, she takes a wire hanger and just gets him in the eye. So I wonder if he lost an eye and we just don't know.
Is that whenever she stabs him in the stomach?
No, she stabs him in the eye with a hanger.
I know, but then doesn't she stab him again?
Oh wait,
that's when she stabs him in the stomach.
Yeah, well she stabs him in the stomach the first time with the knife, because like she somehow gets it, and then she stabs him in the eye, and then like.
Then she stabs him in the stomach.
Yeah, she stabs him in the stomach because she stabbed him in the eye. He's like, oh,
he drops the knife. She takes it and stabs him in the stomach.
So yeah, that's when she takes it and she gets him, and then she does the same thing where she walks out, walks around.
Oh, that's what it was. She didn't stab him with the knife the first time. She stabbed him with a needle in like the neck.
Dude,
that's what it was.
Is what she did.
She stabbed him in the neck with the needle, thinking he was dead. He's not. He comes back up the stairs. The kids run into the room. She runs in the closet. She stabs him in the eye with the hanger.
Why did I forget that?
I don't know. I forgot it too.
See, like, this is why I should have watched the movie last night.
I probably should. Yeah.
Yeah, we just watched it once. If you haven't, figured that out, definitely should have watched it multiple times.
Probably do that in the future.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna be.
We're still working the whole.
We're still working.
We're still working on it.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, back to that.
So then she stabs him in the eye with the hanger, and then he drops the knife. He takes it and stabs him in the stomach, and he falls over, thinking now that he's dead.
Right.
Because that's like triple tap.
Yeah, it is. It is. And of course, she circled him. Thinking,
and then she goes back to the kids, tells the kids to leave.
Yeah, that's right. That's when she tells the kids to leave. She somehow, for some reason,
run out screaming, and the psychiatrist is walking by at that point and sees it.
And then, for some reason, she stands in that doorway, just kind of like
resting. She's like,
oh. And then
and then he does the.
That's when he kind of like comes
up.
up.
Love that.
Looked like he should have. Like, it took a lot of like ab strength to do that. He just like.
He just like perfectly just coughs, sits up, and looks at her.
I love that.
Good scene.
I hope you like. I heard like Halloween 2. My dad said he liked Halloween 2 better.
Really?
So I'm hoping he does all that same like movement and like that.
I love his methodical kind of just calm, slow movements.
Like that's what's creepy about Michael. Like that, it's like that part. The fact that
like
he's so calm.
Yeah. But once he gets his hands on you, it's this.
He's so powerful, and you just like don't know like what his next move is. It's just that's like the cool like part about Michael.
I love all that about Michael.
And knowing that he's a mortal man, but something's different about him.
Something's different about him. He's just got like super strength.
Somehow he did a lot of, he must have gone to like prison, done a bunch of like workout stuff. They must have had a nice gym at that psych ward.
They must have.
He's
been pumping iron.
He really was, especially with that hand strength and stuff. But no, that's when.
And then the psychiatrist walks into the house, and that's when Michael sits up, goes to attack Lori.
Starts strangling her.
Yeah, he does. He gets his hands on her, and then the psychiatrist comes in and shoots him.
Yeah, he shoots him like.
Does he shoot him? I think he shoots him in the arm first.
No, he like
and
shoots
that
him,
lets go.
He like shoots him like multiple times, like in the chest, like
Yeah,
the torso area.
He shoots him, and that's what lets go. He lets go of Lori, and then he just starts like unloading like 5 shots, something like that.
Starts pumping lead into him,
And then he falls over the balcony.
Falls over the balcony onto his back, which I've done like that before out of a tree. That like knocks you out.
Yeah.
It didn't knock me out, it just knocked all the air out of me. But from that height, like that had to be bad. So he got stabbed. Let's go over like all the damage that Michael had taken.
Because I find this to be a little unrealistic on how he survived.
Which serves something.
It does, but it's also like he got stabbed in the neck.
Stabbed in the neck
with
by
a needle or whatever that was.
Mm-hmm.
Stabbed in the eye with a hanger.
Mm-hmm.
Stabbed in the stomach with a big knife.
Right.
Shot 5 to 6 times in the chest.
Right.
And then falls over a balcony, and he lives.
But
like no heart, no lungs, no arteries got punctured.
I guess not.
All 5 or 6 shots that the pharmacist shot missed
the
anything important.
The psychiatrist.
It's like, dang it, I'm not a pharmacist.
It's okay. No, I get those confused all the time too.
I know what I'm talking about. I promise.
It's like a pH, you know, or no, is it pH first? Is it that for a psychiatrist?
PhD?
No, for a psychiatrist. pH. I'm gonna have to look at the spelling just to be sure. I don't know.
I watched the movie, I swear.
He did. I know he did. I don't know. I'm pretty sure. It sounds like you did. You know a lot about it. I mean, you know the.
How to get my notes from somewhere.
You know the screenplay a lot more than I do. Well, you remember it a lot better.
My memory serves me well.
But yeah, no. So all that, like, what? That's like 3. That's like 5 things that should have like at least
definitely killed somebody normal.
4.5.
Which
things
is
that would have killed him.
Because Michael Myers isn't normal. Something that would normally kill a normal person didn't kill him because he's like a super mutant.
We have to watch the next one, but then that's another thing. The pharmacist keeps saying, the psychiatrist keeps saying that, or Professor Loomis, or Dr. Loomis keeps saying that the evil. The evil
he
escape.
does, yeah, he does call him evil.
So that makes me think like, okay, there's something a little more supernatural to him, and I think that's why he's there. That makes something he understands, that there's something a little more supernatural to Michael.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, so that was another thing that like I was thinking, but we haven't really talked about Michael himself. Maybe for a little bit there we did.
Because he's kind of a mystery.
He really is.
Like, you don't know much about him besides the fact that he just killed his sister when he was little and is now on like a killing spree.
Yeah, and that's what's more scary about him. Actually, I think that makes him all the more scary is that we just don't know much about him.
It's like you know his name,
yeah,
and he's really strong,
yeah,
and it's hard to kill,
and that's it.
And that's all you get.
That really is all you get. But now, first have the William Shatner mask, the Star Trek mask, Captain James T. Kirk,
spray painted.
That they just spray painted white. Pretty sure like that's all they did, like, because they forgot the mask or something.
Oh, and dyed the hair black.
Dyed the hair black?
Because the mask is, like, it's peach art color, and then blonde hair.
Blonde hair, yeah, that makes sense.
And so he spray paints it white, and then dyes the hair.
Dyed it, or at least brown. I mean, that's
the brown.
That's brown, yeah.
Brown, that's it.
So we have the mask here. If you're, like, watching this, rather, compared to, just listening, here it is. So, yeah, just spray painted white. And then dyed the hair, of course, compared to blonde. I
do have to say the costume for Michael Myers is a fantastic costume. It's pretty simple, just a mask and overalls, but the colors go well, and it fits his character, I think, very well.
It does. It really does. And of course, like you said, just the mystery of him is just super cool. And like
that's why I love this character and think he's so iconic.
And you have like the chance. I know we mentioned this earlier. You have the chance to like see him.
A quick glimpse.
As like a boy, and then you like have the quick glimpses
of his face.
And then she takes his mask off at one point.
Oh, that's whenever whenever he first gets shot, and then he releases Lori, she like grabs his mask real quick.
Yeah, and then he just kind of comes into like a little streak of light, and you
And
see
you
his
see
eye.
like his eye is all deformed. I think that's
Yeah.
probably from the stabbing in his eye,
Probably so.
because that's the eye she stabs is the eye you see.
Yeah, and that's actually reminds me of like another thing I wanted to like. I was planning on like watching it a second time, and then I was gonna like look and see if anything changed about his POV shot, like pretty much through the mask.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I'm pretty sure there's like another like shot of that. I wanted to see if it was slimmed down as if he lost his eye. Did you notice anything like that? Because I definitely need to go back and watch. That's something to go back and watch and
When
look
does that
for.
happen? Oh wait, is it like at the end? There's just like the breathing.
Yeah, you can hear the breathing.
Yeah.
You kind of see like what he sees. But I need to go back and look and see if like there's anything to do with like his vision. Because it very well could be like in the next like, movies he's just working with one eye, and that could be like, an upper hand to Laurie.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, that Laurie she did a good job holding herself up. The professor. I keep wanting to say professor instead of doctor. He could be a professor, but he did a good job being there, keeping a gun on him. He knew he had to kill Michael. He tried. I mean, he tried killing one of his patients.
He did.
Oh boy. But one of those patients was killing other people. So I guess he had to do what he had to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so do we want to start getting to some of the categories?
Sure thing.
Were there any personal cons about the movie?
I got one more con that I didn't mention, but so this con to me was whenever Tommy starts talking about how he sees the boogeyman after Laurie had been seeing Michael Myers throughout the entire day, and then and everybody's like ignoring her and like blowing her off, and then Tommy's like, "There's a guy outside." The boogeyman, and she just like ignores him.
She blows him off.
I was like, bro, really? You've been
Yeah.
seeing the dude all day, now this other kid's seeing somebody creepy, and you're just gonna ignore it?
Yeah, no, that's actually like exactly what I was.
He was like out there holding her body, like dang, what's her name? Annie's body, and he's like, "There's somebody outside," and then she just ignores it. I was like, really, you're gonna ignore something like that?
What? Laurie needed to work on that. Sorry. Yeah.
I just thought it was a bit silly that the
It
whole day
was.
she's been seeing someone creepy, and then someone else sees the same thing or sees someone creepy, and she just like ignores it.
Right. Well, I noticed that, and then more so something a little more similar. The fact the whole time, like the whole day, she was paranoid. The whole time she was like terrified to walk up to the bush, and stuff. And she like whenever she knew, she would like look and be like staring.
Yeah.
You could tell she was paranoid. But then she had no problem with like walking up to like a dark house, knowing something was up
Yep.
and that she could potentially die. Like, oh, there's no...
But she kind of did think that her friends were just playing a prank on her.
Right.
Because she like walks in there and it's like, y'all knock it off.
Yeah, but then
And she finds their bodies.
still. But then like the whole day something odd was happening. I don't know. That was just another thing I noticed.
It's a little silly.
And then I know, like I mentioned earlier, the dubbing and the sound designs of it. There was just a few parts where, you could tell like switching. That was pretty much it. Can't really think of like anything else. I know like I was writing some stuff. Just nothing really else to add to the cons for me.
Yeah.
It just felt a little. Besides, the friends, some of the acting of it, you could tell they.
It was kind of like the late 70s kind of acting for like new actors.
Exactly.
It's something like that was expected.
Oh, and I forgot something I was gonna mention, like about all like the titties being out and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there was something else. It was kind of like felt like John Carpenter, like, oh, I'm gonna do this for all the dudes out there who just want to see titties.
But you saw a pattern of that within those movies.
Yeah.
That started were releasing around that time. That was just like that became common.
Yeah.
So I feel like it was just
Which,
another one of the movies that he's just putting out. That's just in
I
there.
personally don't get it. It didn't really serve anything. It was just kind of like
Not really. It's just
kind of distracted almost. It's kind of like, well, titties. I'm seeing, a woman's breast, and I think she's about to die, and it like happens. I'm like, okay, that felt just a little pointless. And then it was either that, and then it just felt like, I don't know, it just felt a little too forced.
Yeah, that's just, I kind of just blamed that on just what was being filmed around that time. That was
Right.
just common in all the movies.
Yeah, and then like some of it seemed like we're trying to show it, but we're not at the same time.
Yeah, they're
Especially
trying to
with
keep it secret.
Linda's like, it would just be the bottom of the frame, and be like, oh, no, she's like sitting up now, and it's like, oh, stay above that.
Hmm.
And it was just kind of like, okay, it could be a young actress just trying to like show that she'll bear it all for being a new actress.
Yeah,
guess.
I took notice of that. I was just like, meh.
It's like
I was kind of like, all right, that's there, I guess.
yeah. But anyway, so that just the dubbing, of course. That was pretty much my biggest, personal con on that. Do you have any more?
No, that was it on my little cons, my personal cons for that
There you
movie.
go.
Because I kind of already talked about what I didn't like throughout the part.
The pros. Any pros on it?
We also already talked about it. It was mostly just Michael's character is a lot of
Yeah.
pros. I think so.
Yeah, I was gonna say like just Michael standing there and like staring at people.
I think the John Carpenter's directing with Michael was very good because
It
every
was.
time Michael's in the frame,
A very established character.
it's
That's
like his
what it was.
movements and everything makes him look like concentrated. He's focused on his kills,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just like very methodical with it. And the directing was very well with
It
him,
was.
I think.
Let's see. Yeah, that. But I'm excited for Halloween tomorrow night. I'm just gonna stand on
You're
the
gonna
corner
creep
with,
people out with the
yeah,
mask.
I'm just gonna stand there. Like I was doing at work yesterday and stuff. Just kind of standing there, just staring at people. It's super simple to do, but it's still terrifying
It's
for some
effective.
reason. It is.
Just because you don't know who's under the mask.
Exactly. That's what's cool about masks, and that's why they did it. I'm gonna get the jumpsuit later. Let's see. Next category would be critiquing the actors. We've already kind of done
Yeah.
that. Some of
Kind of already hit on some of that.
Felt like late '70s acting, of course, kind of like bridging into.
So I didn't mind
80s.
it all too much.
Yeah,
Just because it's like it's an older movie.
It's an older movie. It's gonna have that. It was, of course, it just had a $350,000 budget.
Yeah, it's not like they were spending all their. I don't think they're spending their money on the actors.
Yeah,
Like, that's
they-
not what they spent their budget on.
They weren't getting a bunch of Audrey Hepburns and stuff. What else? Recasting. Anyone you would recast?
I honestly thought everybody played their roles pretty well.
They did. I can't really think of names, and I didn't like prepare for like that category.
I didn't either.
Yeah, so like I couldn't have time to like go back and like look at just look at actors and actresses from the time to like who would I put.
Yeah, I don't know enough actors from that time period to really be like, I think this person would play a better role in that.
Right. Well, what about actors and actresses from now? I mean, for me, I'd put Anya Taylor-Joy and everything. The girl from like Queen's Gambit and
Yeah.
Last Night in Soho. I don't know. Probably put her as Laurie. Just cause
I
like,
didn't even think about putting like now actors in there, like today's
Yeah.
actors.
The Doctor. He did perfect. He
Did.
carried the movie.
I think he would be. I think he's very well casted.
Yeah, I didn't think of
Nick Castle as Michael
Yeah.
Myers.
did-
No
did a-
change there.
Yeah, I mean, they did a great
Wow.
job with like the movement and stuff. I just can't really think. He was just he had a really good flow, like motion.
He's also like tall and built, so it kind of
Yeah.
added to the creepiness.
It did. It showed like the hands and stuff. He went on to direct some good stuff. I like I knew his name was familiar.
Yeah, he's actually been in every single Halloween movie
Really?
as Michael Myers.
Okay.
Fun fact.
I thought there were like more actors and stuff.
I mean, they do have like Tony Moran also play
Yeah,
Michael Myers, but
which
they kind of like.
I think he plays like the face.
Oh, you know what? Actually, yeah, I think
he
you're
just
right about
plays
that.
like the face that you see so briefly. But yeah, no recasting. I can't think of anything. There's some quotes, best quotes.
I forgot to write stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. The one that really stuck out to me is like, "Hey, jerk, speed kills," and you're like,
Oh, and then
in the car, and you're like,
like, take a
"Geez,
joke."
can't you take a joke?" That was actually like really funny.
that was pretty funny.
Of course, like the Doctor's like, "The evil has escaped." Like I really liked that.
Anytime the doctor was talking, it was pretty like
Yeah, it was-
intense because he's just sitting there explaining the like intensity or the scariness of Michael Myers and why he should be taken seriously because the sheriff that movie
Right.
wasn't exactly taking it seriously,
No, he did such a good job.
and he was like, "You should take this very seriously."
Yeah.
And it was like builds the suspense because you don't know much about Michael Myers except for what you see on the movie, and then also what the doctor is telling him or telling the viewers.
Right. Exactly. I did just. No, I'm just gonna drop that. Yeah, no, it was like it wasn't too like filled with like iconic quotes or
No.
anything.
It's more the character, like Michael Myers himself.
Yeah,
is
that's
like the iconic piece
he's
that came out
the
of that.
iconic piece.
And also the music. Music is iconic.
The music, Michael Myers, Laurie is Jimmy Lee Curtis as Laurie. You know, just kind of like carrying the story. Score and soundtrack. You know,
Composed by
the director
John Carpenter himself.
and writer.
It was really good,
It
honestly,
was.
for him to be composing it himself. Like, I didn't know he was a composer. Thought he just wrote it and directed it. But he did a really good job. I'm not sure if he's done more composing in his time, but if he has, I'm sure it's also very good.
Yeah, no. That was another thing I forgot to mention. There's for some reason they're watching on a TV, like it comes up as like they're watching The Thing,
Oh, yeah, they were watching the thing.
and he went on after this. He got like the budget for like to work with Kurt Russell in the movie The Thing, that he wrote and directed. And
Wait, John Carpenter
yeah,
wrote that?
John Carpenter.
Oh, wait, I knew that. I've seen the thing.
Yeah, it's like let's see, I forget when it came out. Like I want to say like 1983, something around there. But I mean,
Great
like,
movie.
Yeah, it's been a while. I need to watch it again. We might have to do that one on this.
That would be a
podcast
fun one. I
sometime
really like
soon.
that movie.
Yeah, he did the score for that one too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
I
he
remember
did
that being good, so.
Yeah, that, and I want to say he did something else where he also did the score, but I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like I just knew that score for this he did a phenomenal job.
He did.
It wasn't too basic because I don't know, for some reason I really like that.
It's like a simple tune that is very effective.
Yeah,
and it's like
that
creepiness.
That little like click, like I don't know what exactly like instrument would do that. They probably like a metronome or something, whatever, for doing the little.
I'm not very familiar with like orchestral stuff.
Me too. I probably just used the wrong phrase too.
Maybe.
But then story rewrites. Anything you would change about the story?
Yeah, actually, so something I would change is probably just not making Michael Myers so obvious. Since that was a problem that I had personally, I would change that so he's not so obvious. But I know it adds to his character. But to me, it was just a little unrealistic.
Just for him to be around like a corner more, and he's just kind of like peering, like
Yeah,
from
he just
away.
made it like too obvious that he was there,
Yeah, he like
which I thought was just a little weird. It was
Yeah,
like not
I
very
mean,
realistic, so I would
the
change
hedge
it.
scene.
Yeah,
whenever
like he's
he-
just right there in front of
In
Laurie,
front of
and I was
him.
like, would anybody really do that?
And then when she had like a witness, you know,
Yeah,
which-
she wasn't looking.
she wasn't looking, of course, but she very well could have been looking. Yeah, you're right. That is probably something I would change. You know, just to
Just
be
because
like,
I thought it was too obvious, and I was like, someone will notice him. And usually
Yeah.
when you're stalking somebody, you don't want to get noticed.
right.
But that was just one of the problems that I had with the movie. So that is something that I would personally change.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, that's probably something I would. I thought it was cool that you could see him a little bit. But yeah, nothing else I would really change. I like movies how they are, unless there are some that I'm just like, no, this is definitely what I would change. I think I can really think of. I'm glad like they didn't kill the kids because I would have found that too disturbing.
It wasn't his target, so it's
Yeah.
like,
It did kill like some teenagers. That was kind of like, okay. I mean, not that it's like.
that probably
cool.
had something to do with his sister, honestly.
Yeah,
just because that's
which
like it
adds-
looked like the age he killed his sister
Yeah, and
is
then
his target's age.
teenagers preoccupied, and that was another thing I saw where John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, I want to say, the producer of the movie, they didn't want to write it like he was just gonna kill kids who have lost like their virginity. They only did it because he killed the kids because they were occupied,
Ah,
like, you know, doing stuff, getting frisky.
Easy targets.
Yeah. So that's pretty much how. And then of course, like, it had something to do with the sister. Yeah, it probably triggered something. So we're gonna have to keep watching it. Watching the series. So I mean, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
I think we hit all the. I think we got all we can. We got all we needed to cover.
Yeah, definitely. Next time I will be going through the categories and looking at like what exactly I need to change and add to it. But yeah, so that's it for Halloween. Next week, still trying to determine like what we're gonna be doing. May drop Ballad Buster Scruggs next week.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
So stay tuned for that. That will actually be one we recorded last week, which is kind of confusing. So we might do that because
Schedules.
Yeah, schedules. But not sure. We're still trying to determine what we'll be doing. The next movie we'll be doing, which probably will, be able to announce it somehow in the next episode.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you have a happy Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Adios.